John Myers, live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody. Gotta have my notes. It's John Myers from the KICKER UnMasked studios. Gotta have my notes. Alternator. Hey, everybody. We have fun. Hey, everybody. Hit like and subscribe. Right here, right now. It's John Myers. We like to give stuff away. Alternator. Post some more pictures. We got to thank Steve and Becky live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Don't forget Texas Roadhouse right here, right now. Hey, everybody. Don't forget right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. Had a great dinner tonight. It's John Myers right here, right now. Had a great dinner tonight. So, hey, everybody. So, housekeeping. Had a great dinner tonight. So, alternator. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. So, Tuesday night. Housekeeping. From the KICKER UnMasked studios. Housekeeping. Right here, right now. Hey, everybody. So, it's John Myers. Hey, everybody. It's John Myers from the KICKER UnMasked studios. Hey, everybody. From the KICKER UnMasked studios. It's John Myers. Right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody. Right here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here with us on this Tuesday night. We've got a fantastic show with, of course, live guests live in the studio. Why would they not be live? Yes, always live guests except Herkimer. He's an undead, I don't know. Anyway, we've got two guests here in the studio with us tonight. We've got, of course, Stephen working the cameras. We've got JW who brought us some dinner. Thank you, JW. If you want to know what we have for dinner, ask me later, I'll tell you. And then we've got, of course, Ernie and Bill Frog and the three very special guests. Two of them you're going to get to see. Third one, Wave back there. Peyton. Okay, he did wave. All right, that's Peyton. And this will become relevant in just a few minutes. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring the guests here into the studio. They're in the green room right now. They're getting a massage. You guys about done with your massages? Okay, they're about done with their massages. We're going to bring them in here, and then we're going to talk to you guys about electric vehicles. So we'll be right back.
It's been a long road since the original Kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
Music is my passion, my livelihood, and it's in my DNA. My pals at Kicker Marine Audio gave me a chance to take the music, what I love and listen to, at home, on stage, and in the car, onto the water. Hi, this is Jason Bonham, and I want to say a big thank you to my friends at Kicker Audio for inspiring the songs and the stories behind the music that inspires America. Go overboard! This is your time.
welcome back, and thanks for being here. As you can see, our distinguished guests, we have Mr. Jimmy Ham and Mike Flanagan.
Good to see you.
Pro Audio Centers in Mississippi. Now, these guys have been on the show, you think, four times before?
This is the fourth or fifth time.
Fourth or fifth, so almost as many times as I've been on the show.
No, not quite. Not yet.
But in terms of guests, you're probably definitely at the top.
Okay.
Of the most times we've had the same guys in here. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are experts at a lot of stuff, which is why we call on you quite a bit. And specifically tonight, we're here to talk about electric vehicles.
Well, we'll see if we can get it done. Yeah.
Anybody out there with electric vehicles, throw your questions up because we've got the experts here, and these guys are here to school all of us on EVs. Actually, you guys both drive an EV, is that correct?
Right. Actually, both driving Teslas right now.
Excellent.
So, yep.
Okay. And from Mississippi, how long did it take to get here? 5 days, 6 days?
No, it's well, we actually were in Tulsa for the weekend. We'll talk
right.
about that in a second. But no, it's about a 11 and a half, 12-hour drive, and it takes maybe an extra hour to hour and a half. It does have a little charge time, but not near about what most people think. However, you just go up, plug in, go walk around in a nice area, stretch your legs, you come back, charge, you go. So when you get here, even though it took longer, you feel a lot more relaxed. So
Now, the Tesla drives itself too, right?
oh yeah. Yep, Mike's got full self. And I'm going to tell you, until you've experienced that, you have no idea how relaxed you can be when you get somewhere. Instead of being wore out, stiff, you just relax. So it is nice.
Okay, well, I'm not in the EV market yet, but when I am, I'll give you guys a call. So
I'll give you a referral code, so let me know. So.
So you can get it like a kickback?
Right, it works for both of us. You get something, I get something.
Okay.
It works.
All right.
So,
Honey, are you watching?
We're in trouble now.
Well, so my wife and daughter are probably watching for about 10 seconds because this is not that interesting to a 6-year-old and my wife. So I get about maybe a minute out of them and then they tune out.
I know.
So, yeah.
Wait till I start talking. The 6-year-old will get interested.
it's like, this guy's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were going to talk about the EVs, but first we want to talk about your SEMA build.
Oh, yeah.
This gorgeous
Absolutely.
truck. So, hey, Ernie, should we look at pictures of this?
Yeah, we've been spending some time with this, and we spent a couple hours on it.
Wait, it's not in the unmasked. It's not the fails file. Hold on a second. Not the fails.
Oh, that's a whole other file.
There we go. Okay, here we go. All right, Ernie, let's pop this up.
Yeah, so we definitely spent some months working on this one like anybody does with a big build, but it's a big flashy truck, and we were having some fun with it. Actually got it out to SEMA this year, so that was nice, well received out there, and it looks like it's going to be going on tour kind of with the Kicker XRV this next year, starting at the Lone Star Throwdown.
So it's going to be in the trailer.
It's going to be out in front of the trailer, yeah.
But it's going to get there in the trailer.
It's going to be on a trailer, but that's not fitting in the trailer.
It won't fit.
Not even close.
And Jeremy's going.
We'll make sure they meet up at the same spot at the right time. But no, I tell you, this is the first time we built one that was that high in the air, and you really have to worry about falling out of it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a look at some of them. So, so just kind of an overall shot with the back. We added a lot of LEDs, a lot of lights. As you can see that there's 3 solo X's in it. There's a total of 59 speakers, 20,000 watts.
Wow.
It's made to be crowd loud. It's just fun to look at even when it's not on. But then when you do turn it up, it's the one that the crowds want to run to and actually enjoy it,
Yes.
So, and that was our goal. Yes, we want to make it loud, but we want something that's really well balanced and just plays every kind of music,
Now I have to ask, does it play Buffalo 40 hertz?
It does. It does.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah, definitely.
We made sure, and believe me, we throw that in there all the time, especially with this too. And Mike, tell them about the box a little bit.
So the box is actually a what the street would consider a 4th order bandpass enclosure. It is a true 2-to-1 4th order, total of 18 cubic feet.
Wow.
6 cubic feet on the sealed side, 12 cubic feet on the ported side.
Right.
Tuned to 35 hertz in cabin.
Okay.
So, it gets down. As a matter of fact, the first notes that we started playing out of it, you can see the back glass is solid. That truck came with a slider back glass.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you can see, we had to change that because the slider came completely apart.
Right. So it blew out the back window on it. So solid. We've got solid steel on the inside, outside, and actually, since it's just a show truck, the whole cabin bed are now one piece now. Just trying to hold this thing everything together.
Okay.
So, but it's got plenty of highs to keep up with it, so a lot of good sound.
So these are ST9s, is that right?
Yeah, the sevens actually. It's sevens, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they're sevens, and then we. Yeah,
and then the three.
Yep, all the way around, and you'll see a lot more pictures. Yeah,
yeah.
So it's got motorized power bars. They slide up out of the side. It's got a motorized bed cover that slides back. Then those come up.
Wow.
And then all the doors. We can flip through and see what we got on the doors here. Okay, here's something interesting, or y'all might think it's a little interesting. So it's 2 battery banks, 1 lithium, 1 AGM. And dual alternators, of course, and all that. So you need some way to monitor, like everybody. So just here's, for a simple thing, you need a way to display this.
Yeah.
And so we come up with a pod. So what we have done, like on this truck, and the way we build things there at Pro Audio, we're doing Fusion 360 design for everything now.
And what is that?
So it's CAD. So you can get in and actually take the computer, and once you learn how to use it, you can model everything up. You can look at it from every angle, see how it fits, see how your parts fit into things. And so here's an example. That was one simple part, but yet it still starts out in Fusion 360. So if you see that and then you jump back, you can actually see, here's my part. Here's a design for it. Here's the part. And so there's actually like 60 or so pieces on this one truck that are built like that. So,
60?
Yeah, on this one. So they're, like this particular one's 3D printed, filament printed. And then you've got ones that are laser cut, and then we actually CNC stuff as well.
So you look at this dash and you say, okay, I need.
You just hold these pieces here. Like, man, wouldn't it be cool to put these here? This would be a great place. Okay, well, how do we do it?
Yeah, and then it just pops out of your head, so to speak.
Yeah, and you just start designing, but it saves so much work. From, I'm an old school designer. We built stuff from way back, and so it's really cool to be doing it like this now. And it saves you so much time, but at the same time, it opens so many possibilities. It's kind of like, well, you're just doing a lot more, but at least you're getting more done.
So if you had another pickup, you could do the exact same design. And exactly.
When you do find something that you can repeat, that's where this kind of work really. I mean, you throw something in the machine. Nowadays it's to the point, if you leave filament loading your machine, I could be sitting here right now, select something on your iPhone, your machine just start printing it out for you,
So if a guy out there's got a pickup and he wants one of these, this gauge cluster, he can call you right now.
Absolutely.
After the show.
After the show,
And you could just print him one. What would something like that cost at retail to a guy out there?
It's probably still going to be probably $80 to $100. There's still some hand time involved in wrapping it and finishing it out. And there's actually acrylic pieces to give you the shine on the front, and then there's some hardware to hold it all together. So
so $100.
Yeah, probably $100 to get you something like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
And example of the door panels. So, and we try to take something, we built lower 2/3 for all the door panels. I know Mike definitely, he loves them and he's cussing them all at the same time. So, how do you do, and then this particular truck, there's a lot of pretty. And of course, the real trick is it's still a loud truck. So how do you build the pretty where it doesn't just blow up too? Because you're still going to turn the bass up loud, and then you're just having to climb in and out of the truck all the time too. So it was all built very solid. We'll get to show a video in a minute.
Okay.
This lighting effect was actually something new for us too. So to really kind of get that pixelated look where the light looks like it flows through it. And of course they're programmable, to any kind of lighting pattern or colors that you want to. So I
was going to ask Mike that. Yeah. So is this a steel mesh?
Yeah, that is a perforated steel mesh basically that's over the plexi.
Okay.
With those are the running lights, the programmable running lights. I think those are 30 lights per meter.
Wow.
Different densities,
Yeah, it's really cool. It was really fun to build. There's a little bit of time involved in figuring out how to get the light to travel completely across the plexi.
Yeah.
Some things that we've learned over time and ways to do it. But yeah, it's like Jimmy said, you see this and you go, oh yeah, I can build it. It's the 3 stages of custom. Yeah, I can do that. Dear God, why did I say I can do that?
Like,
and then, wow, that really looks good.
Right.
That's the 3 stages.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I see you've got a bunch of questions. Let's take a question before we jump to the next picture.
Okay.
What's our first question tonight, Ernie?
We want to get into the truck or the EVs.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. So we'll get through the truck. Okay.
Yep.
Good call. That's why we have producers.
Yep.
Here's one for the truck.
Okay, truck. Phil Mobile Sounds. Is it ported to the cabin?
Absolutely it is.
Yes,
And we got a picture of it here very shortly too. So front doors, back doors. Yeah, this is old school blow through on it. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's.
Gorgeous. Front doors, back doors.
Yeah, and this is actually looking through the port. It's obviously a very sizable port. So yeah.
Wow.
And we went in through some lights in there. Of course, it's got all the bracing. It's, double wall, triple baffled, the whole bit, because anybody that's seen anything with these Solo X's
Yes.
now, they're beast,
Yes,
We're throwing some power to them, and it's made to hold it. So, yeah. Yep. One of the new Lynxwell XLs, that's actually a new piece from them, 6th gen stuff. So supersized screen for supersized truck.
Yeah, that's nice radio.
Yep. And so this is another example you'll see with the next picture, I think, too, of just some of the little custom-made pieces. Sure, it's got the 3/4, bolted top and bottom where you needed extra bracing, but for this kind of build, we wanted to pretty it up a little bit. So you're actually looking at some cosmetic covers. That's why the bracing looks unusual.
That's what that is.
If you recognize it from the other photo,
Yeah.
it's 3D printed. That's actually just a PLA filament print there. So, but it starts out in Fusion 360, and you see the end result.
So now this is definitely a detail that has to be really well thought out and then executed.
Right.
Because it serves no purpose except to really look nice.
Strictly cosmetic for
That's
that.
it.
And for this kind of, there's shows you take this to that honestly you're not really going to be able to play it that much.
Yeah.
There's shows you're going to be able to just bang the crap out of it.
Right.
But we needed it to just look pretty sometimes
Yeah.
too. So we try to take a little attention to detail with that. So
That's a nice touch.
see what else we got here. Yeah, so a little overview looking into the amps and stuff. So there's 10 808s there driving all the mids, total of 59 speakers, 20,000 watts. So actually using an Alpine DSP with that, with a Toslink connection straight up to the Lynxwell. So
Okay, then now the savvy audience is looking at that big amp there and saying, well, that's not a kicker amp.
right, we're like everybody else. We're waiting for the war horses too.
Yes.
So,
Right.
in the meantime, that is a Salt 12K, and it does a very good job of driving those Solo X's. So
And if you do
It's
the
got its-
if you do the measurements, three
will fit right
will
there.
fit
So
right there.
when we rendered it with the war horses in
Yeah.
there. Like, okay, well, we got to have something to push this
No,
baby.
that's
Time to get
great.
it out there.
That's
So.
the reality
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, a little battery hold down pieces. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but just an example. Lots of pieces. Fan shrouds. So you get through. You got all these amps. You got to cool them somehow, and the only
Yes.
place left is to tuck fans on the side. So you need a way to get that airflow up there. So we were doing some little airflow testing and all that, and this is just a result of that. So if you get a chance to look at this in person, you'll see these little fan shrouds coming up over all the right places, blowing the air across them.
That's
So
crazy.
Yep. Power steps, doors. Yeah.
Nice little work in there.
Yeah. So just overall, and I think Ernie's got some video here in a minute too.
So Ernie, you wanna? Oh wait,
We had a couple installed. Yeah, some people like to see us like, okay, it's pretty on the outside. Is it pretty on the inside?
yes.
Yes, it is. And matter of fact, if somebody, because this truck is around, most of the time we would be with it, but if we're not, there's actually circuit diagrams. It's kind of like when you pull open the refrigerator, want to know how to work on it?
Yeah.
Here's your circuit diagram. So at least you're not lost. If you know something about electronics, you can work on it. So just an example of one of the rear panels pulling off, and let's look at the next picture here too. Oh yeah, as you can see, we really get into our work. So that's Peyton. He's definitely on the project team and put in a lot of hours on this one. And I don't fit in that hole like he does.
Neither one of us do.
Young guys. This is what we have. Young
Right,
guys.
so he's bringing it up. He's doing some major work on all this stuff too. And this right here, seeing the little bus bars in the back is a couple of the AGMs. There's several more scattered around, but we can flip to the next one. You see how those pieces are done. So custom bus bars, custom fuses. I mean, it's still a lot of power flow. This isn't like 180 dB truck, but there's a lot of sound and a lot of power at the same time. So this is how we manage it.
Yeah.
And then there's, secondary alternators, same thing, but it all starts out in Fusion 360 nowadays, and that is definitely different than we used to do it. So it's a lot of fun though.
Nice.
Yeah. Little blasting under the truck there too. So
Yeah. I asked him at dinner time if that's legal where he comes from, and his answer was
depends on how you use it. It's legal to sit there and look at it all day,
Yes.
maybe at a show, but you ride down the road with it, you're going to upset some people. So
Yeah.
there's some of the shows we've got it out a couple of times. So good looking truck. That's our Hernandez friends, Hernandez Tire Shop down in Hattiesburg.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, Ernie, let's throw up that video.
Yeah. So this actually gives you a chance to kind of see what the lights look like. And like I say, they can be changed however they need to and all. So Yeah, so we'll have it out some more shows, and hopefully, I know it's supposed to be up at Slamology too. I know that'll be a popular show, for a lot of our viewers and all.
Yes.
But Lone Star and starting out down there, and we'll see. So I'd love to give you a little demo of this one.
Beautiful.
See what's up.
So we can make that red and green for Christmas.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we were thinking ahead of, we would. We suck. I don't know.
No. I mean, you guys are doing us a favor because you were here on other business this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We spent the weekend over in Tulsa for the mobile soundstage engineering over with Mark Eldridge. I'm sure a lot of the viewers are familiar with that. And we talked to him in Knowledge Fest earlier this year. It's like, Mark, we haven't been to your show. Why? Or to your, to the class, And so we arranged it, and man, it was great. I mean, we've known Mark. We all kind of started competing at the same time, but it's amazing to see what all he's done to get into that. And when you go to it, it's Mark for sure, but it's also just such a collection of knowledge from all the people that are there, and you get to share a lot of ideas, and it's really neat. And right now, of course, one of the big things is the two-seat soundstage, because we've all kind of, if you've been around SQ competition, you've gotten familiar with doing the one-seat tunes a lot, and there's so much you can do with processors. But there's new up mixers now, like the Riven up mixer. And so you get to have the experience. It does use a center channel, but it uses it differently than anything we've seen in, I don't know when. I've never heard anything quite like it. And it's just amazing. You give up almost nothing from that single seat tune to get that second seat sounding almost identical, just a mirror image of it. And it's amazing the amount of detail. It's not a just left, center, right. It's everything in between moving just like it should. So it was pretty fascinating. So,
Is Mark, hey Mark, you watching tonight?
He should be.
If Mark's watching.
We enjoyed it, man. We enjoyed it. Really did. So.
Mark's been on our show one or two times too, I think.
I think so. He was
on here with us on.
We did a remote show with him one time talking about SQ.
Okay, and then he came to his training.
Okay,
great.
Exactly. So
that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to EVs.
Okay.
We've got a lot to talk about with EVs. So in the audience, any idea how many guys or girls have EVs out there? Because actually in hybrids too, because we want to talk about hybrids.
It's hybrids. It's a little different, but they definitely share some similarities. So.
And that's kind of what we really want to talk about. And do we have any questions that I should be taking? Because I only got 18 questions.
Is that all?
I get to talk and I forget to talk to people. So Team Crosby, hello. Thanks for being here tonight. I want to know how much battery power mileage we lose on an EV stock setup. Let's
easy enough.
Jump right into it.
I'll jump in on it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Strictly volume dependent. So if you can put in thousands of watts if you want to. If you keep it cranked up, it's going to pull some energy. And how that relates to mileage is strictly kind of how your car was set up to start with. How many kilowatts, how many miles per kilowatt you got anyway. So it's probably not near as big of effect as you think, because pushing that car is a lot harder than pushing most audio systems anyway. So it's not like, I used to get 250 miles and now I got this stereo and I get 25 miles. But over a long road course, a high-powered stereo might knock you down 15 or 20 miles. However, if you just kept it at a reasonable listening level, you probably wouldn't notice any difference in range at all. But on a daily drive, which is what most people are doing with this, it really doesn't matter, because it's not like now that it's in an electric car, it's going to pull energy. It was doing the same thing in a gas-powered anyway. You just didn't really notice it or didn't think about it. But you're using energy, but most everybody on a daily drive is just charging the EV back at their house, and electricity is much cheaper than gas. So for the same energy, you spend a lot less money and you just top off every night anyway. So it really doesn't even matter.
So you bang all the way to work,
right?
Maybe 10 miles, 15 miles.
Get home with a smile on your face, plug in, and come out to a full tank in the morning.
Okay,
so,
good. Good question. Thank you. Good question. So the goal of a system, let's talk about, so I bring you my EV, I say I got a Tesla, and I say, okay, I want to make it sound better. What's the process?
Well, we're going to kind of ask, see what your goals are to start with, see where you're at, see what you want to do. I think probably one of the most common things would, I need a little more bass, because if you've been around audio, I mean, hey, we're kicker people, obviously.
Right.
But, if you've had a system before, and depending on which model sound system you get in the Teslas, for instance, some of them actually don't sound bad if you get a premium system on. But you're probably still going, I need a little more bass in this. I like to feel it a little more, and that's going to make it more dynamic, and so that's probably where most people are going to start. So.
Okay. So we've got a couple items here in front of us, and we're not limited to these, of course, but So in my CX-5, I've got the downfiring TRT P10.
Sure, and that could be an option in an EV even.
And I'm running off of the Key 501, so that would be simple.
That could be a very simple option for a lot of EVs, including most of the Teslas.
Okay. And that's because of the processing in it. It's going to correct the signal. So coming out of the Tesla, what kind of audio signal have you guys seen?
The signal itself is not different than you're going to find in a lot of other cars. I mean, most all of it, if you get a premium sound system, you're going to have a woofer in the back of the car anyway, which is going to make this process easier. So you may not have to correct it a lot. There is generally, especially with the premium system, they have a lot of time delay, phase correction, and all that built into the car anyway. So a minimal amount of changing that is probably better to keep it blending in with the rest of the system. So, but you could take a Key 501 like that, and you know, there's plenty of places to mount it. If you've got a 3 or a Y, you're going to find DC power distribution right under the rear seat. If it's a Model S or an X, you're going to find it right at the frunk, which is what they call it. It sounds funny. It sounds like, should I have said that or not? You know, but frunk it's not me making up words, Ernie. It's actual word. It's frunk.
I'm thinking strategery now.
Right,
you know?
Right, exactly.
Former president, strategery.
Right.
Yes, there's another one. Wow.
So, and there's actually easy pass-throughs through the firewall close to the HEPA filter on those cars, which is the driver's side, and you can pass your wire through. And it's kind of a standard install from that point. You use an amp, auto turn-on amp, and you can set it up. So, and we can talk about a few of the things that you might want to look for past that. But yeah.
Let's take a question first. We do have 21 questions. Mobe the One, good evening. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Does a high-power audio system shorten drive time? Oh, I think we just answered that.
We actually did. We kind of answered it, I think. And sure, and it also does in a gas burner, too. It shortens the mileage on it. You just don't really think about it as much.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, it can, depending on how loud you're jamming and, how much power you're drawing.
And there again, for daily drives, it doesn't matter because you've got plenty and it's cheap to replenish. If you're on that long drive, like anything else, keep the air conditioning cut back a little. And that's only when you're just trying to, I want to stretch every mile I can before I recharge.
Like Mississippi to Stillwater.
Yeah. There's it's a lot of supers. People think you can't. I mean, I've been up here, telling how many times, and you just get in the car and go. So, and charging time's minimal really for most of the modern ones. So
Good. Next question. Andre, hello, thanks for being here. How to find a 12-volt source in a 48-volt car? Great question.
Well, it is service manuals.
Service manuals, manufacturer specs, anything that goes from that. I'd love to tell you, it's easy, blah, blah, blah. Anything you do, you start with a little research.
Sure.
And that's anything. If you get to the research and go, man, I just, maybe not, maybe this isn't me.
Right.
Find your local car audio center that actually knows about EVs, that can work it. Any kind of specialist. I can tell you right now, we know that the Cybertruck is going to be a 48-volt system. There are a few of the hybrids that are running 48 volts. It's just all dependent on what the manufacturer says the best thing to do is. There has to be a way to do it, or else you couldn't charge your phone with it.
Right? Sure. That's a good point.
So,
okay. Now, over dinner, we were talking about orange.
Yep. And that's something too. So, and like Mike said, if you're not sure what you're doing, safety you need to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, go to somebody that does. Hopefully, if nothing else, even from us talking tonight, you'll have a little more information. So if you're talking to somebody, you're like, okay, this guy's actually done some research, knows what they're talking about, versus I think we can put that in, So, just you have to kind of judge, because it is kind of a new thing for our industry. And, we kind of got introduced as experts. We don't call ourselves experts because we're learning like crazy. But we even did that this weekend and stuff. We were talking to some people that's, doing some nice installs and finding out about it. And so we learn a little more every time, Yeah. So, and the question we were just looking at too, you're going to see much higher voltage. You're going to see 300 to 600 volts in a lot of these cars, and that's nothing to play with. It's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is, in a pure EV vehicle, most of the high voltage is actually well encased, mostly under the car. Lots of warning kind of labels, but definitely orange. Orange, no bueno. Orange, no bueno.
Orange bad.
Orange bad. So if you see orange and you're not intentionally trying to do something and you haven't read the service manuals, you don't have the right gloves, you don't have the right just stay away from it. But other than that, inside the vehicles, there's 12, 16 volt. We'll talk about that in a second. Inside the cars, and that's kind of a standard install situation then. So. But if it's a specific vehicle, you're going to have to do what we do. You're going to have to find the service manual and look it up. And you're going to have to understand the circuit diagrams you're looking at and go from there. If you don't know, you're going to have to start calling some people.
Find an expert. Yeah. Next question, please. Steve, good evening. How do you get 14.4 volts constant in an EV? That's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, it is kind of along the same lines. And fortunately, a lot of cars are going to have that. They're going to have it. It's just strictly a limitation. They don't have an alternator in an EV car, but they have a DC to DC converter. Every one of them does, because they still have, it's a high voltage for the main drive system, but they have low voltage for all the accessories, which usually includes your screens, your radios, your air conditioner blowers, your headlights. All that stuff still mostly 12 volt, low volts on there, which will be 14.4. Most of your Teslas were in the 14.4, 14.5. Now, when we got into 2021, they started swapping over and use a 16 volt system, which generally looks more like 15.5 and 15.7, and that can cause some concerns. But other than that, I mean, it's there in most of the cars. And of course, with a hybrid, they're still using a lot of 12 volts. They've just got a secondary drive, and it's usually lower voltage, but it's kind of a half and half car, but they still have a very stable 12 volt. And traditionally, they still have an alternator on them of some sort. It might be a combination alternator starter type thing, secondary, but it's still an alternator even on them.
Can you just take a multimeter and drop it across the posts to see which voltage you got?
Well, at that point, you've already kind of torn the car down, so you might want to figure it out even before. The safest way, they'll have a power outlet, just a standard auxiliary power, cigarette lighter kind of thing, and you can take something and either probe it directly or plug something into it and probe that. So great place to start when you're trying to figure out your EV is to figure out what voltage you have. So if you have it there, you've got it in the car, then it's just a matter of understanding that vehicle enough to know how much amperage is available, and of course you'll know what voltage you're working with.
So. Good question, Steve. Thank you. Next question. So many great questions. Stuart, good evening, Stuart.
Ooh, aftermarket radio. Ooh.
What would it take to get an aftermarket radio installed? Do the Teslas have AC or DC air in their cars?
You're not going to put an aftermarket radio in a Tesla.
Yeah. How do you put an aftermarket in a Tesla? Don't.
Next question.
Right. I mean, that's just the honest truth, because on the Tesla, all the controls, especially the Model 3, there is no other screen other than that 15-inch screen in the center of the dash. There's no other speedometer. There's no other anything. Everything runs through that screen. You're not going to.
The closest thing would be if you wanted to have some kind of handheld add-on or something like that. You could kind of run it secondary, depending on which amps you use. And of course, they have auxiliary inputs with Tesla. They have some of the latest Bluetooth connectivity. So if you want a source like that, but as far as just straight up replacing it, no, the MCUs are fully integrated. It'd be like taking half of your car out. So
Okay, good question, Stuart. Thank you.
He said the AC or DC. It's DC.
Yeah, it's DC.
Yeah, it's either high voltage DC or low voltage DC. Now, of course, they can charge from AC, but that's all converted in a power control system to charge the batteries.
Okay. Right. Next question, please. 365 Sacrifice. Will the EV affect people who like big builds?
Yes.
Yes,
most definitely. And there's some people, I've seen some crazy stuff that look pretty sketchy to me. I'm not naming any names. I look at it as like, it's kind of interesting to see if somebody's trying this, but I'm kind of scared to see if it actually works, so. There's a lot of power. I mean, you look, I'm driving a Tesla Plaid now. I mean, it's literally got 100 kilowatt battery in that. And you think about the amount of power available in that, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'd love to be like, hey, man, wouldn't it be great to hook a stereo straight to that? But the reality is, it's kind of scary to see. I'm sure as we go along, there'll be a lot more people doing with it. But even when you do that, we're going to have to think about how we do things different, because when you're starting to deal with 400 volts, or higher, safety's got to be a big part of that. So we'll see. But it's, it kind of depends on what you say big build too. I mean, if you're still talking 2,000 or 3,000 watts, I mean, that's probably doable like we are now. But you start talking 10, 20, 30 and on up, the power is there in the car, but figuring out how to safely get that into an audio system is still a challenge. So we're trying to get there. We're working on it.
Yeah, and don't say never. Now
because you don't know what's coming down the road too.
Yes.
So,
Right, exactly.
Now, next question, and while he's pulling it up, you mentioned you drive a Plaid.
Yeah.
How did it get the name Plaid?
The old Spaceballs movie. So Elon, he likes to have a lot of fun with a lot of things that he does, and all that. So they had all the different cars and stuff. And it's like, what's beyond all that? So in the movie, if you go watch the Spaceballs movie, and then they're doing all the corny effects and everything coming by, and it goes to Plaid. So you're looking at it on the screen, and it looks like Plaid flying past you. So what do you do beyond ludicrous? You go to Plaid.
Plaid. I love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Next question. JS, good evening. What are the most efficient amps Kicker makes for EV usage? You guys. Well, look at this.
How about, I mean, I don't know. We could start here as it so happens.
So the Key series of amplifiers are very, very efficient. And so we have actually been talking about this one quite a bit tonight, because this is kind of a go-to amplifier. We have right around 18 to 20 preloaded Kicker enclosures that are perfectly matched for this amplifier.
Right.
So what I like to tell people is find the enclosure that fits your car, and then that's the amplifier. Because no matter what radio you got, that amplifier will work with the signal and massage it if it needs massaging.
Absolutely.
So that's a great amplifier. It's also very efficient. The 204, similar story, also very efficient, works with factory installed speakers or aftermarket speakers. And if you want to start with factory speakers and then add aftermarket later, you just retune it with the microphone. In 6 minutes, you're done again.
Right.
So those would be great to go with. You guys have done a lot more EVs than we have here at Kicker. What are some of the other Kicker amplifiers you guys have been using?
Well, I mean, this is actually kind of a staple for a lot of it. You can still do the CXAs, and something. I mean, anything in that lineup is probably going to be good for it. So, yeah.
Okay. 1801, no problem?
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. So.
Okay, good.
I think the general rule on a stock system in an EV, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're going to want to stay somewhere around 1,500 watts.
Yeah, the 18 is probably about your limit, there. But I mean, the DC to DC converters are basically rated in the Teslas now about 180 plus amps, which is kind of like your alternator. But we haven't pushed them that hard. I don't want to be the first guy to push it that hard. Maybe when you get your car, we'll try it out.
Sure.
So so I mean, it should work fine though.
All right, good question. Next question.
No.
JS, is there a way to add an alternator to an EV?
No, not really. So you see a lot of memes out there that's kind of like, well, if you just drove one off the wheel and recharge. No,
it doesn't work.
No, there's not. I mean, the only moving parts are at the end of the motors turning the wheels, so there's really nothing mechanical to move it, so that's not there. You're looking at DC to DC converters, and the way they're built, it's fully integrated. So at this point, in the stage of where we are in Aftermarket, you're going to have to kind of work with what's there already. So, and then, there's ways to add more batteries so you can stock up some energy like that and still safely charge it off of what's there. But as far as just quick recharge of big alternators, that doesn't exist with the EVs right now. So.
Let's talk about that. So, can you add a secondary?
Sure. Okay, and that's what a lot of people will do. So you're going to need something similar to the factory battery. The excess power Titan 8s are a good choice. RSVs, and depending on what voltage, either an S5 or an S6.
And what's the difference there?
Mainly your charging voltage. We were just stepping into this a little bit. So prior to 2021, it was still kind of 14.4, 14.5, even on the Teslas. at 21, they started swapping over, and that's where we have the 16-volt system that's 15.5, 15.6. So you're going to need to step up, to a 4S battery or something. That's what they did. But the lithium iron phosphates, will work good, and they'll charge well at that level, and it's safe to do it. Now, this is where experience in particular cars comes into play, because when you do this, you can run into situations where you need to isolate the battery. Sometimes you don't. It's kind of always a good idea to do it. But what you run into with the EV, so you've got your battery matched up, you've got your extra power, so you're ready to run a little bit more amplifier, not worry about it. But what'll happen is, depending on the standby current for your amplifiers, you can actually run into a situation where the car's seeing a little bit too much current being drawn and it won't go to sleep properly. And that's actually a problem, because electric cars, when you're not using them, they're on, but they're meant to go to sleep. So that they don't run down just doing nothing. Right. And also, so if you're drawing too much standby current, they'll actually not go to sleep, and then it'll actually throw an error code on the car, and you kind of work through all that. Of course, you can unhook what you had and go, okay, well, this is it. So, and there's ways, and I'm sure some people have seen some diagrams. We'll probably put some up on our website too at some point, but you can add battery isolators that semi-isolate it, so it kind of drops the voltage, drops the standby current enough so that when the amplifier is off and the battery, your secondary batteries are disconnected, it'll actually let the car go to sleep. As soon as it turns on, it all reconnects, charges, and you're good to go.
Are you guys using marine products for that? Like what we would see in a boat build? That kind of
not
stuff?
really necessary. No? Not really marine, because it's all going to be usually most of the work done in the Teslas, for instance. We talk about that because that's what we work on more. But they have the cubby holes in the back, which is just like a gift from God for doing stereo. It's like you just look at it, and anybody that's ever put anything in a car goes, man, some subs will look really nice right there. And that turns into being subs, amplifiers, battery isolators, everything. So you can kind of get the right trays to kind of mount everything down on, tucks in there tight, and doesn't move around. And so you're in an enclosed environment, so it's not really marine necessary.
Good. Great questions. We were way beyond what we were going to talk about. Let's keep going. It's good stuff.
You got a question?
David, good evening. So we can potentially add compatible lithium-ion in conjunction with EV systems and not hurt the vehicle. So adding more lithium to the EV system.
I mean, people are doing it all the time. I don't know that there's any particular manufacturer recommendations one way or the other. Electrically, it's very possible. It's being done a lot, and no bad side effects from it. So.
And Titan is the one you guys have been using?
The excess power Titan 8s.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good question. Next question.
And by the way, you would want lithium. You wouldn't want to do an AGM like that, because they're running lithium. You don't want to mix those at all, even with an isolator. So
now, but in the truck you guys did, the SEMA truck, you mixed lithium.
Right, but we're obviously not mixing it into an EV. So the standard truck system is AGM anyway on that. So 2 batteries under the hood, we replaced those. We added 4 more in the back, so we've got 6 AGM 3400s on its own dedicated alternator. And then we're running a bank of Titan 8s lithium just for the base, completely isolated from everything else.
Well, that's good. Thanks for clarifying that.
Also, keep in mind, we're talking about the low voltage side. Don't need to go and start adding lithium to the big battery.
So, and this was, and we were talking with Bill about this some earlier and all too. So, what do you have to do? How do you integrate with you? Well, you don't integrate with the high voltage pack. You don't mess with it ever. You want to stay far away from it. And as far as how it charges, the battery management systems they have built into these cars are amazing. And how do you do it? You just plug it in sometimes. Everything else is automatic. They've got a lot of algorithms. They're measuring, they're balancing all the banks, keeping everything optimal all the time for the longevity of the battery and just performance. So I mean, they've got 10-year warranties on the battery pack. There's a lot of stuff on social media and all this, like, well, what do you do when you get a new? Because they're comparing it to their under hood battery that they replace every 2 or 3 years. That's not what happens. If it gets more than 10% degradation, they're going to give you a new battery in the 10-year period, and you're going to get most of it in your first year and a half, and then it just levels off. And I mean, there's cars out there that's been out there, even the old stuff, the new stuff's better, but the old stuff's been out there for, 8 years or plus, and they're just trucking down the road, no problem. So
so less fear on this topic, right? Okay, good. Next question. Danny, good evening. How do you go about remote turn on in an EV like a Tesla if auto turn on is not an option?
Generally, the power ports are going to be switched as possible. So you'll have it right there. And if you look at the diagrams, they're in other places in the car, it varies, but there usually is a switch circuit.
Sure.
And of course, like with the Teslas, you almost think they don't turn off because the way they work, as soon as you come up close to it and you've opened the door, it's already lights on, AC on, the radio's playing right where you left off. It's like, what were you doing while I was gone? Well, I was still enjoying myself.
Having a party.
Right. So, but if you actually measured some of the circuits, usually the powered outlet is a good switch circuit.
Okay,
So.
That's good.
And there's different places behind other panels, and that's one of those things you kind of read up and study it. You go, oh yeah, I pop out this panel. Because at that point you might be tapping into another switch circuit, but it's minimal current, so you can tap into a lot of places.
Now the DC offset on all Kicker amplifiers, that's working in Tesla?
That should be compatible with it. Yeah.
Okay, good. So the other answer is just buy a Kicker amplifier.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, next question, please. Steve, again. Hi, Steve. Why would you have to add extra battery since the car is all battery?
Because you're not using those big primary batteries and you don't want to because you could die.
That's actually a great explanation. Yeah.
So, everything on the low voltage is what we're doing right now. So, at that point, you've either got enough there or you need to add a little more to it. So, and it's just being recharged by the primary battery. Yeah. No direct connection at all. So in the DC to DC converters, taking energy out of that primary battery and sharing it to the low voltage side. But
okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, avoid the orange.
Avoid the orange wires.
All right, next question, please. John, hello, John, good evening. How intricate is it to connect everything into the back of a factory Tesla radio?
Okay, well, what you're looking at there is going to be the wiring harnesses. They actually run through body controller modules. There's left controllers, right controllers. Most of the speakers, everything up front runs through those controllers. There's kind of a pass-through circuit. So you're really not hooking straight to the radio. You're going to catch it at different points. There again, having schematics of the car. Yeah. There's some aftermarket stuff. Metra's even doing some nice interface if you want to do more of a plug-and-play style. Yeah. Or you get the schematics and you find it. And at that point, once you know your speaker wires, it's kind of like any other install, just tapping in positive and negative. So. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought up Metra because for the do-it-yourselfer, Metra offers a lot of simplified ways to get the job done.
Sure.
And so it's good for the guys and girls that like to do the stuff themselves. Look for those easy solutions, right? Because then you're just plugging stuff in.
And I can tell you from being at SEMA now, there's several other companies too. Metra's, like I say, they're kind of ahead of the game on that too. And they're going to find out your year, make, model. You've got a base system or a premium system now, and that's important because the wiring harnesses are similar but yet completely different. Yeah.
Okay. Good question. Next question. John, Dennis, hello, Dennis. What about the weight of your equipment when it comes to EV? Weight, is that an issue?
So yeah, the running joke at the shop is we don't have fat jokes, we have tall jokes. So no, the weight of your equipment really, it's hard to say no, it's not going to affect it.
Sure.
But I promise you, it's not going to affect it as much as anybody thinks. I would say we already said that actual voltage drain while you're playing the system affects it by 15 to 20 miles at the most. I would say it's less than that. Give you a very good example. I have some friends that I go to church with, and of course, everybody has their opinions about EVs, so I decided to take these two friends of mine out to eat after lunch. One of my friends is an incredible keyboard player, but he weighs about 400 pounds. Wow. Put him in the front seat. The lead guitar player weighs $120 if he's soaking wet. Put him in the back seat, and we hit the road and go. Now, I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'4", 260 pounds. I'm tall. So we get out on the interstate, and I'm just kind of showing them how it goes. And the guy in the back, he's the one that's really against them, and he's like, I didn't realize they could go this fast. I thought they were all slow. No. So we get down, and the guy in the back, his wife is in a CRV, Honda CRV. Okay. She pulls up beside us, and we go out and straighten out, and I just lay into it. Now, my car is the Performance 3, 0 to 60 in 3.1, 3.2 seconds.
Gosh.
And I've got a 400-pound guy here, a 260-pound guy here, and a 100-pound soaking wet in the back. The 400-pound guy, when I stabbed off in it, when he started to be able to talk, said, "Please slow down."
Please.
My buddy in the back's going, "That's unbelievable.
Right.
That's just unbelievable." So we get to a place we're going to eat, and the guy in the back kind of pulls me back, and if they're watching, this is going to be good. He pulls me back and goes, "You know, Steve's a big fella." I said, "Yeah." He said, "And that car moved like it was nothing up there." So that being said,
That's a perfect real world example.
Yeah, right.
They don't care about the weight. They really don't. I mean, the instant torque in the electric motors that's like the creme de la creme. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
They go.
it makes full torque at 1 RPM.
Yeah,
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're part of the reason that Mr. Steve Irby purchased a Tesla.
Actually, that's a little opposite kind of.
Right.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah,
so, and I
absolutely.
think
Oh.
maybe he knows that or maybe not, but they are tied together.
Okay.
So I had been looking at them a lot, and this has been a few years back
Yeah.
now, and was looking at them was like, well, you know, I see this as the way the industry's going. I really want to learn something about it. So what better way to learn than to get one? So I'm really looking, I was like, man, this is really cool. And so Mike and I were on a trip up to Stillwater at the time too, and he's just messing with me because, you know, you can order a Tesla on a phone app even. I'm sitting over here looking at it, and he's trying to hit the button the whole time.
Buy now,
you know?
buy now.
Right, exactly.
You know, so we didn't, but I'm really interested in it. You know, when we get up here and we're talking, it's like, well, is that the route to go? Is that the thing to do when we get up here? And that's when we found out that Steve had just got his first performance Model Y, and so we got to look at it and talk about it. It's like, you know, that's just kind of a sign right there.
Right.
You know,
Someone
like,
I trust bought one.
someone I trust, and he's doing it for the exact same reasons that I was. You
Yeah.
know, and so that's actually how it happened.
That's it. Okay, so I had it backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Next question. Should have gave you a little warning. Marcus, good evening. When you put a high-end stereo in an EV, do you have to upgrade the EV electric system? I think we've answered
Yeah, I
that
think we have.
mostly.
And like I say, you're going to be limited by the built-in DC to DC converter. There's a lot there. You can add some more batteries to make it better, but you're going to have to work with what you got. So
But up to about 1,500 watts.
1,500 watts
no
is kind of a
problem.
no-brainer. I mean, theoretically, you could do much bigger. Like I said, I don't want to be the guy to just keep trying it, but I'm sure as you keep following this, you'll see some people doing bigger and bigger builds. And I know there's some out there, and they could, you know, might give a little feedback on
Sure,
it. So
sure.
we're just
Okay.
easing our way into it.
Good question. Next question. What time? Wow,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot.
All right.
Can you listen to your system while it's recharging?
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
100%.
Question.
Oh, yeah. Listen to your system. I have Netflix in mine.
Watch
I have
movies, play
YouTube,
games.
Play games. You can play video games.
Those are all the
on
things if you
thing.
actually want to just stay with the car and take a break, if you're not out just wandering around. It's not like
Yeah.
gas where you got to sit there and wait for it to finish.
Sure.
So, but yeah, if you're in the car, you can do
Right.
it all, including
And
audio.
Let me go ahead and tell you, too, if you're anything like me, and when you go on a road trip, you're ready to get there.
Yes.
If you're in a gas vehicle, the only times you're going to stop is to get gas.
and
Right?
And eat.
bathroom break. eat.
Well, you do the bathroom
Kinda
break.
same,
That's,
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm headed. Your wife goes on the trip with you, and then it's, can we stop?
Can we
we
stop?
stop? Can we stop? Right.
Joanne Fabric, stop.
When I started discussing the idea of getting this car with my wife, she goes, that means we're going to get to stop more and charge, right? I was like, yeah. She says, I'm all in.
Everybody's happy. When you
Right.
get there, everybody's happy. So,
Wow.
and I tell you something too that a lot of people, non-EV people, don't think about. They're like, man, they just don't have chargers, you know, because you go down the street, there's gas stations everywhere, and it looks like there's no chargers. Here's the thing: if you have an EV of your own and you're in your hometown, you're charging at home. The chargers are only for people that are traveling.
Right,
So
right.
then there's like, oh, well, now it suddenly looks like there's enough almost, you know. And 99.9% of all the memes you see of people waiting for charging is just something made up. Because, I mean, we've talked about all the trips I've been on. I've waited for a charger like once for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was a worst case scenario. So,
Good. Well, let's take two more questions, and then we'll jump into our Q&A for the evening and some other pictures we've got. Frank, good evening, Frank. Thanks for being here. Would installers need special training in order to work on EVs? Just wondering if I would not want to take an EV to just any shop.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Like I said, you're going to have to kind of interview your shop a little bit too. So maybe at least get enough knowledge about it that you can kind of talk with them as like, do they really know what they're doing? Now, we're both MECP expert certified, and there is a section in there specifically for EVs, hybrids, and so they're telling you a lot about it. So that's at least there's not a lot of other training specifically available that's applicable to just our industry, but you'll figure out real quick if the guys have been doing their homework on it. So
there was a company, I don't remember who they were, they came by our booth at SEMA a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about the tools they offer that are specific for EV, and they're all coated in orange, rubberized
Right,
stuff.
exactly. And I mean, you get down to the point, you got your class 0 lineman's gloves, and you have a little tool that you put it on that blows air into it to test to make sure there's no holes or tears in it. You put that, leather gloves, and this is only if you got extreme enough that you need to get into the high voltage system. Best thing is to have the knowledge to know how to stay away from it. But at that point, I mean, there's whole procedures of disconnecting the low voltage, disconnect high voltage, let it sit for a while, chock the wheels, because you don't even want to move these cars because of regenerative braking. You want to be sure they don't even move or they start putting voltage back into it even though it's disconnected. So,
Great question. All right, one more question. Stuart, good evening, Stuart. Just curious with electric vehicles, what are the chances that there would be noise interference with aftermarket audio? Good question.
Yeah, you want to take it?
Absolutely. So when you go with noises in a vehicle, the primary noise that you're going to get if you have a problem is alternator whine. Not going to get that in an EV. The second noise you're going to get is usually generated noise from the computers into passive networks and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a chance. But if you do your homework, figure out where things need to be, and with the Tesla, most of it is already active anyway. So if you know what you're doing and you do a little research, a little homework, there won't be any passive networks used. So the chances of there being noise in any kind of in a system, in an aftermarket system, in an EV is slim to none. Not going to say it's impossible, but slim to none.
The cars were built, to be electric from the ground up, and they've got a lot of their own systems that don't need noise either. So they went to a lot of trouble to engineer them just to be clean anyway. So
you mentioned passive networks. Just for the folks who may not be aware, we're talking about passive crossover networks, the high pass and low pass for mids and tweeters, and they can actually pick up radiated noise and then send those into the speakers. And the first time you discovered, this was probably 1992 or something, the first time I ran through this. And we're just banging our heads like, where's this noise coming from? It's BMW, it's kick panel. And it was
you could literally get alternator whine and the stereo's off. That's how much noise they can pick up.
So that's what we're talking about. And you don't have that problem in this installation.
Full active on just about everything. So
now, one other point to mention here is that the quality of the preamp and the amps that you choose now become important as well, because there's going to be some brands of amplifiers that maybe you never heard of them, but they're really cheap, and you put them in and you get a system hiss, and it's because of the amplifier, not because of the car itself. So
got to be a quality piece regardless. So
signal to noise, SNR is what you're looking for there.
I'll tell you one thing too, I'll add, I didn't see it as a question kind of thing, but I'll add this. People talk like how much wattage do I need, how loud does it need to be and all that. One thing people don't think about with the EV cars is they're quiet. There's basically no drivetrain noise. You're just going to have some tires rolling down the road, so the cars are much quieter. That being said, you don't need as much stereo to have the same dynamic range. And you're actually using less power to make it just as loud because you have the same dynamic range.
That's a great point.
Because I mean, it's like a lot of people taking their cars and they're just putting tons of sound dampening in it. Trying to get it quiet and trying to achieve that, but it's a lot of work, And of course, people still do that to EVs to make good even better. But at the same time, you're starting with a much quieter noise floor. So
and that means your 1,500 watts goes much further.
You might could easily say it's more like a 3,000 or 4,000 watt system for the way it sounds, and with it not being as loud but still being just as dynamic, you don't have as much listening fatigue. So
absolutely, wow, that's a great point. Okay, well, do you guys want to hang out for a few more minutes?
Yeah, we can.
Got some pictures and tech questions? Okay, cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so no commercial, Ernie. No commercial. You got it? Anybody have to go to the restroom?
No, we're fine.
Okay,
All good.
No commercial, Ernie. All right. So at this point, we're going to bring up Jacob. He's got a couple of questions for us that he had in tech support. And you know what? I'm going to read these out, and if you guys want to chime in with, because you guys deal with a lot of tech questions, I'm sure as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's I'm planning on purchasing your new preloaded L7T subwoofer enclosures. So real quick, at SEMA, we introduced the new L7T truck-specific loaded enclosures.
Oh, they look
so that's
good.
what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Did you guys get to hear Joe Gross's truck?
I haven't heard it yet.
If you have a chance, before you leave, Joe Gross has a Ram.
Okay.
So he's got the new one in it, running off a Key 501.
Oh, yeah.
And it's shockingly great.
Nice.
From just, and it's at 4 ohms.
Okay.
So we're talking 300, 350 watts at 4 ohms. So it's unbelievable.
Right.
So back to the question. My excitement took over.
Oh, no, that's fine. I get it.
2017 GMC pickup. I already have a Key 501 in that truck. It's powering an old 8-inch subwoofer. Is that going to be enough for my new subwoofers? Yes. Yes, it is, as I just said.
Answered it before you answered it, yep.
So you guys have had a lot of experience with the Key 501. Have you found its limitations?
Nah, I mean, for what it is, it's fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of power in that little box.
Yes.
It is.
Right.
And it's clean power, so works good.
Good, good. Okay. All right, next question. I have a 2019 GMC pickup truck that came equipped with a KICKER tailgate system. You guys have seen quite a few of those. It worked perfectly for a couple of years now, but it has recently quit turning on when I open the tailgate. Could it be a bad amp? What can I check? Have you guys run into this?
I don't know that we've seen that exact problem.
Not that exact
problem. Of course, it's an OEM installed piece, so we've seen them, but we haven't actually put them in. So I'm sure there's, I don't know what they're actually using for the switching on that one.
So first answer is call technical support. Because we do have a specialist who's trained in OEM specifically to handle these questions. And my first thought is there's a tilt switch.
Yeah, I think
I think that's right.
Yeah,
just
makes
a tilt limit switch.
And that could be, it could be the tilt switch failed, maybe got moisture in it. I know you can't use mercury because, you know, we're adults now.
Right, yeah. I used to eat it, but
I know, I used to play with it.
It's weird.
In the hand.
It was fun.
So no more mercury. So I don't really know what the switch is, but it could be the switch has failed. So yeah, definitely call our tech
If you happen to be close to Mississippi, we'll take a look at it for you. So
or do that,
I will.
And check out that truck while you're there.
There you go.
That thing. Okay, great. So that's our questions, and now we want to show some fun pictures.
Oh man,
the fail pics. Now again,
these are always fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you're watching and it's your picture, we're not picking on you. We're just having good
enjoying
fun
it with you.
Because we all had to learn somehow, right?
These are actually Aaron's photos, I think, from a little while back. He doesn't want to say it, so I'm just going to say it for him.
My first install, I didn't fuse it.
Yeah.
And then the wire turned red hot.
So you started the No Fuse Club.
And I did this with my hand. And it burned me right across. So I
scarred for life.
Yes, I know fusing now.
Yeah.
But you learned.
I did learn.
You did learn a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Ernie, can you show this picture, please?
Wow.
So yeah, that's a winner right there.
That is unexpected.
I'm not sure where to start with what's wrong.
Wow. But better solder is all I can say. Better solder.
I don't know a hill of beans about what he was trying to come up with.
Maybe some heat shrink.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, let's not do that. Next up, this is I think
there's two screws.
Oh yeah, that's
Two's
a double.
better.
That's a double whammy for you.
And that's what I guess just screwed into the lead. Is that?
Well, that's the bent over turn. It's going to be kind of hollow like, so they went through the metal there.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, well, we need better than that. Got to be the remote turn on. Got to be.
I've personally seen this done in my retail days.
This is your truck?
No.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a good customer of mine.
Yeah.
I won't say his name because there's a chance he might be watching.
Yeah.
But he came up with this and he drove his truck up to my store.
You can't complain that it probably doesn't work because it probably works.
It does work.
Right.
And it's not beautiful to look at.
As long as it's not 400 volts, it's probably safe.
Yeah, I don't see any orange tape.
Wait, is that orange wires on it? No.
Looking at that that turn signal stock and that steering wheel, I don't think it's an EV. So yeah,
checking.
This does work, but there's probably a better way to.
Right.
To
We're going to need a
accomplish
radio to go with that. I see it. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We could probably cut something on the laser. You know, it would.
Backlight it with some LEDs.
I mean, we could do it. We could make it happen.
Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Put the switch straight in the dash. Like
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
a
there
base
you
knob,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
flush it in.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Now this,
Oh no.
this is innovative, right?
It is. It's functional. It's functional. It's 100% functional.
That'll hold the car seat.
So this is
Yeah.
definitely the sub box. Looks like probably Kenwood woofers in there.
Yeah, could be.
I don't recognize that amplifier, but so they just took some seat foam and wrapped it in some fur,
Something.
some fur,
Some something.
and that's what your child seat rests on.
There you go. Perfectly safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Just don't be kicking my subs, man.
Right, right. I'm gonna need some grills there.
That reminds me of a Fiero we did
Yeah.
many years ago, and they put
Yeah.
the subwoofer in the footwell.
Oh, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
the nice steel grill over, so you can put your feet on it. Yeah.
Dude, that ain't worth a hill of beans.
That's twice you pulled that in.
Matt, you know who you are.
Right.
So this is one of Ernie's private reserve,
Oh,
and
love
he
it.
claims this will work because this is his desk.
Yeah.
So he says this does in fact work.
All right.
And
Like I said, we're here to learn too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what more to say about it, but it
Well,
works.
do you think it would have been safer with the plastic toothpicks, Ernie?
Okay.
Okay.
Eventually, once you get it nailed down, you just break the toothpaste.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh. Permanent.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Permanently plugged in.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Nice.
And so we've got some events that are coming up. There's actually not a lot between now and late winter, but we do have a couple things. Some base wars are coming up.
Oh yeah.
Ernie, can you put up my screen again?
Our good friend Billy and all of his team, Base Wars. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Have you guys done an event at your store?
We haven't right now. We're looking at doing some stuff, but of course, you know, Billy actually worked for us for a while. He's a longtime customer and actually worked at our shop for a while too. So
We've
longtime friend.
All known each other since we were teenagers. So
My gosh.
yeah.
So does he live near you guys?
He's living in South Mississippi now, but yeah, he was actually living right there with us for a long time. So yeah. Yep.
That's great. So his events are coming up there. You can see it on our Facebook under the events tab. It's a little bit hard to find thanks to Facebook, but it's on the events tab. And it looks like they've got a Christmas edition. Oh, that's the 16th. I thought maybe it was the 24th, but that would just be silly, right?
Yeah, right.
Anybody with
I mean,
kids.
there might. I mean, if you're dedicated, why not, right?
Sure. So that's what we got going on for events. Our team, actually John and Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, his name is.
Oh, see. I know we were getting entertained.
Man, yeah. There it is.
John and Jacob
Nice.
are headed out to North Carolina next week.
Okay.
They're doing a boat install for Scott Martin.
Oh,
He's
nice.
one of our
Yeah,
sponsored athletes.
Yeah.
And he's got himself a new boat, a huge boat.
Oh, yeah.
450 outboard motors on
Oh,
this
wow.
thing. I mean,
That's going to be fun.
unbelievable. And it's got a grip, maybe a pallet of speakers on it.
Oh, yeah.
And amps and stuff. So our guys are going to go out there and do that install. And then we've got a big Jeep. Did you guys get a chance to see Miss Sarge, her Jeep?
Yeah, I
At
did
SEMA?
actually.
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
didn't see I think I've seen it though. Yeah,
You have? Okay.
Yeah, I think I
Right.
saw it here. I
We
think.
saw it here, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's coming here, and we're going to do
Okay.
a little sub box upgrade on it.
Okay, yeah.
John and Jacob again. I just love saying
Oh,
it. We're going to do some upgrades there. So that's not really an event, but that's something fun that's coming up.
Yeah.
And you guys, you're just knee deep in Christmas right now.
we
right?
are. It's the full Christmas season for us, which is always fun. A lot going on. We actually just got into all the e-commerce stuff ourselves and all too.
yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, you were looking at that earlier
I
too.
was. Hey, Ernie, pull up my laptop again, please. So you
so we're having
guys-
some fun. So we're authorized kicker dealer online, and as it says, for all products, including the
that.
Solo X online now. So if anybody, if you don't have one local to you or something, you need one, we've got them available online right now. Get it shipped out to you tomorrow. So
What's it cost to ship an L7X?
you don't want to know. Fortunately for the buyer, it's going to cost nothing for you.
What?
So we're actually doing free shipping on them. So
Right.
yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just ordered a curtain rod and they charged me $5 additional
$37.99, yeah.
$5 additional to ship
For the
a curtain
curtain rod.
rod.
So now it's built in. I mean,
Wow.
we've got them marked as low as Kicker lets
That's
them mark them in,
great.
and also includes free shipping. So
All right, guys, there you go.
ProAudioCenter.com if you're interested. So
And what sizes do you have in stock?
we got 10s and 12s
10s,
right
12s,
now, and
okay.
if something else comes out, we'll be
have
ready
it.
for that too. So, but yeah, we've
Okay.
actually just loaded some new inventory in, good stock on that, and a lot of other Kicker product too. So
That's great.
yeah.
And it looks like you don't sell anything but Kicker. Is that true?
Yeah, like I say, e-commerce is actually. I mean, hey, if you're going to start with
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll be doing a lot. There'll actually be a lot of other product, but we definitely, it was by design, by intention to start with all the Kicker and do it the right way. So
Thank you. We
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, that's great. So, yeah, that's just about it. Oh, wait a minute. No, we've got to give stuff away,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Speaking of giving,
Go ahead and take a few more questions too. We've got a few more stacked up. Go ahead and do your thing, or we can do some questions.
yeah, let's do a question.
Questions are fine.
Yeah, we're good with questions.
Yeah, these guys are staying overnight anyways. Okay, so let's do a question. Steve-O, good evening. What amp would be good for the Solo X12? Experts?
CXA 1800s, you know, that's a good place to start. I mean, if you got stupid, it's not recommended, but you might could do more. But that's actually a good match right there too. So
Actually, yeah, we've done a couple of those. So yeah, the CX18 is the best one. that we've
Awesome.
found
Yep,
so far.
you know, and you could down CX 1200s, pair them or something, and
Right.
we know there's at least some people out there running multiple CXA 18s on it. So I'm gonna tell you, it's a tough woofer. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're rated 2,000 watts, but that's kind of a starting point. You know, but we're not recommending more than that. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, they really beat. So
Well, of course, the standing, I shouldn't say joke because it's real, but I like to point out that there are other woofers that claim more power, but when you say that a Solo X does it for 100 hours
Right.
at
exactly.
2,000 watts, that's
Right.
that's 4 days.
Right. It's
Full
amazing.
output.
Right. If it had a problem, you would have found it.
Yes.
So, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's real power. So good question. Thank you. Next question. Brandon, good evening. Why do you guys recommend a 1800 instead of a 2400 for the Solo X?
Well, where are the 2400s?
Yeah.
One over there.
I would love, and actually, I think we've probably had the biggest back stock ever
Right,
for the
right.
2400s,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we might have one or two put back, but I mean, that's for systems. That's for systems that we built just in case we had to do a quick swap or
Yeah,
something. But yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for new amps. I know Kicker's waiting for new amps. And,
Yes.
Right. Well, the easy answer is if there were ZX 2400s,
Yes.
that would be the amp we would recommend.
Right, so yeah,
But since there's not,
Yes.
this is where we're at.
KX was gone, so now we're looking at some new stuff coming up, and we've actually seen it, and it's some good
Yep.
stuff. So
Yeah, just so we fill you guys in, because these guys are trusted business partners,
Yep,
we will
NDA,
show
yep,
them stuff that we can't necessarily
We had to
talk
go
about.
sign a bunch of paperwork
yep.
and all this, so but we can tell you it's cool. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And it's coming, I promise.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next question. Frank, good evening, Frank. I'm here for MBE, which, what is MBE? That's
The MB enclosures. I guess.
enclosures,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Okay, okay. He does have two 2400s that
Oh,
can do the
nice.
job moving 4 Solo X10s.
That should be nice.
That should be really
You need to
cool.
make sure the box is right. So
Right.
box is
That's-
right. Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
all day long. You'll enjoy that.
Like send pics when you get it done because we want to see it.
I mean, that little smart car video we've got up on our Facebook and all too. It's got two KXA 2400s running 212, so one on each 12, and I mean
right.
it just
There.
beats. And it hadn't missed a beat since day one too. Threw some lithium behind it, and man,
Let's take a look at that.
yeah, just maybe look at our videos or something.
Hey, Ernie, can you throw up my laptop again? We want to see
Yeah, see
this
if it'll-
video.
Yeah, go to videos there. Scroll. That's the y'all's obviously. Scroll down. There, yeah, right here.
This one, okay.
Yep.
All right, let's
Yeah, see
check
if it'll-
this out. Oh my gosh.
So that's two 12,
Wow.
two of the L7X12s, and then you'll see when we come around the car, but yeah. I mean, it's just blowing this little car apart. So, and that's actually Peyton's car, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So Peyton
that's
in the
yours,
back.
Peyton.
That's Peyton's car.
Yeah. Funny story. That's actually my daughter sitting in the car too. So she likes the bass and stuff too. But yeah, and if you've got some mid, 212s and then the 22400s. You can see one of them. The other one's behind the seat.
It is wrecking the phone.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I mean it's real world, and there again, zero trouble out of it. You can beat on it as much as you want. So
I thought that was an airbag.
yeah.
It's kind of scared
Well, I
me a little.
mean, it happens, you know. I mean, hey.
Did you do that green and red just for Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was nice.
See, you were
Yes.
giving us a hard time.
Appreciate that.
Right.
Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
So next question. Good vibes. Good evening. What is the highest wattage Warhorse amp?
This is
Well, that is a-
workhorse.
Yeah, Warhorse amp.
Warhorse, yeah.
So there are two coming. The 3601 does a little over 4,000 watts. The one we had on the show here a couple weeks ago actually did 4,600 RMS at 1 ohm. So conservatively rated at 3,600. So that'll be the big bass amp. And then we have a 1,000.4, which will do 250 by 4 at 4 ohms. So lots and lots of power. 450 watts at 2 ohms per channel. In fact, we're going to do a show about this when we finally have one. But you could actually take a 4-channel Warhorse amplifier and use it as a 3-channel. And you think about this, when you bridge 2 of the channels, you've got close to 1,000 watts RMS to run almost any subwoofer system you want. And then you've got 500 watts to run your doors. So with a single 1,000-watt amplifier, plenty of power to run a really big sounding system, great sounding
be
system
nice.
in an EV.
Old school.
Old school,
EV.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll take 400 volts straight DC.
Oh, Lord.
No,
No.
Let's not do that. Next question. Hello, Dell.
Yep, Richland, Mississippi. That's us.
That is us.
Yeah, so
Yep.
here's the logo.
Nope.
Just Google these guys, and if you want it done right, check them out.
Well, love to take care of it.
Next question. Brandon, hello, good evening. What size subwoofers can you fit in a Model 3?
Well, there's a lot of room, so the main thing is just matching up to whatever power you're going to commit to it. So too much woofer with not enough power is not really going to do any good. So, and the nice thing about them too, besides the low noise floor, high dynamic range, those cars actually load up really well for bass too. So just the shape of the cars, the location, honestly, it's kind of amazing what they do with that little factory sub. So you add something quality, 500, and any of the other options that match up, it's going to sound nice. So, and then the thing is, you'll still have a lot of space left just for normal use too. So you don't have to give it all up.
Nice. So if you were to do a custom woofer, something that gave you most of your usable space, what would you do? A 10, 12? Or?
Yeah, 10's probably about it, you know, and our multiple 8s or something. There's a package tray, and it's a little bit different for each model car.
Sure.
So we're going to kind of work with that, because one of the favorite things is to put it down in the little package tray like that. So, and you're not really going to put a 12 down in there or something, but you can do multiple 8s, possible 10s, depending on the car, something like that. So,
Good.
And that's if you put it down in there.
Right.
And of course, some of the downfire solutions still work well in tuck up out of the way. So.
Sure, preloaded.
Yep.
Nice, good question, Braden. Thank you. Robert, good evening, Robert. Are you guys going to make a Solo X18? Next question.
Well.
Moving on. Next question.
Next question, Ernie. This seat's getting warm.
Go back in some of the archives and watch Mr. Steve Irby.
Yeah.
Moving on, next question. Looks like our final question. What do we got? I'm sorry. I thought you had one ready to go. I apologize. Let's talk about the Christmas giveaway. So we started a contest 2 weeks ago, the last show we did, and it's a $1,500 kicker package. And Mr. John Myers will help you design the system up to $1,500. So you get an expert to design your system for you?
I need to enter this.
Yes, sign me up.
Get to work with John. I mean, come on.
You guys cannot enter.
I think we fall under the family theme.
Yeah, that's no. You kind of work here, so. And that's going to be given away on December 19th, which is our next show. And Mr. Hi-Fi Vega is going to help us out with that. So he is going to remote in and.
Oh, he's going to be here.
Okay, Ernie just committed Mr. Hi-Fi Vega to being here. Hi-Fi, if you're on tonight, thank you for being here or coming.
Yep.
And so, yeah, Hi-Fi is going to help give away that system, and they're going to talk about some more in-depth things on batteries. We've kind of touched on batteries tonight, but they're going to go much deeper. And I think there's another guest, too, from Excess Power.
Oh.
Remy.
Oh, yeah.
From
Remy's
Excess
supposed
Power
to be here.
is
That's
going to
right.
be. So that's going to be a great show to watch.
We love the products. We use the heck out of them all the time. So.
Right.
Well, and you mentioned the Titan 8.
Yeah, it's a really popular. That's probably our most popular lithium that we're doing for lots of applications. We talked about it for the EVs, and then the truck we just showed. That's a bank of Titan 8s in it.
So a quick question: can you throw a Titan 8 into a standard audio system with a gas-powered car?
Yeah, you can. And if you're doing it, if you're not matching it up with something under the hood, and probably even if it's just remote mounted, some battery isolation is a good idea. But yeah, you can definitely mix them in. So do it all the time. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that's great. Final question before we give away some stuff. Brandon, good evening, Brandon. What's your take on 2 Solo X sealed versus ported? Sealed, ported.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to refer to somebody because I don't know that Kicker recommends the Solo X in a sealed.
We do not.
Right.
So that being said,
I mean, it'll work, but it's not really the goal of that driver.
Right.
It's designed to be ported. And like anything else, you need to be familiar with box design or work with somebody that is. But when you do that, I mean, man, those things will really, really go in a ported box. So just get it designed right. But yeah, I think sealed's just out of the question.
Yeah,
really. If I had a choice.
Now I will say this:
he said 2 sealed versus 1 ported, so I guess he's trying to work with a certain amount of space.
That could be.
Yeah.
I mean, for the overall sound and power, I mean, you really want to go ported. So if you just didn't have enough room.
When you start looking at a woofer and how a driver works, and without getting too technical, the biggest thing is motor strength. When you start dealing with motor strength versus cone and all that, sealed sometimes just is not an option. And with the Solo X, I would say sealed is not an option.
Yeah.
It needs to be ported.
Well, and John Myers and I talk about this quite a bit. I would much rather have a smaller driver in a properly tuned ported enclosure than a larger driver in a box that's just too small.
Right, exactly.
You'll just get better performance.
Always too.
Yeah, that's
box
that's
is
a
very
great
important.
point.
So I guess the answer is 2 Solo X 10s ported.
Yep, there you go.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, perfect. All right, great. Well, it looks like that was our final question. So let's give some stuff away.
Woohoo.
The first place, no, we got to start with third place. Sorry.
Yep.
Third place winner, you get the tumbler, you get the Kicker Unmasked t-shirt, and you get the koozies. Well,
nice.
It's been 2 weeks since I've done a show. So who is the third place winner tonight? Drum roll. Winner is Mark Y from Florida. Mark from Florida, good evening.
Nice.
You have won.
Woo. Congratulations.
The tumbler is on its way.
Yep.
Number 2, the second place winner, you get the EB400 in-ear monitors.
Wow. Those are nice.
You get the t-shirt and 2 koozies. And that winner is number two, Scott S. Indiana. Good evening, Scott. You're the winner.
Nice. Very nice. You'll like those.
And first place winner, you get the Bullfrog, which I travel with the Bullfrog. It's my companion. Gives me music.
Yep,
also,
absolutely.
A lot of folks don't know this, but if your phone is connected to it, and then you get a phone call, it becomes a speakerphone.
Right. Absolutely.
So now you're hearing the people talking through the Bullfrog, which
is cool.
If you don't know, it'll freak you out.
The first time it happens by accident. Like, whoa.
Mom? Is that you, Mom?
I use the Bullfrog in our wood shop when I'm working, and be on the music will stop, and I'll cut the saw off and go, and I'll hear my wife, "Are you there? What? Are you there?
Wait, say that one more time.
Are you there?
Are you there?" She got a drawl. That's
it.
great.
That's the way we roll.
She's from Georgia.
I love Georgia. Oh,
Absolutely.
Okay, so first place winner, you get the bullfrog, you get the t-shirt, you get 2 koozies. The winner is
Dun, 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 dun.
25 Hertz to Life.
All right.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
It's absolutely rigged.
Wow.
That is funny.
It is rigged. I
Nice.
guess we
I
needed
guess
him to win.
I guess it's rigged for him though. So I mean, hey.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
you won
nice.
something. Woohoo!
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Fantastic. So before we go, let you know that Andy is doing his after show tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So Kicking It with Andy. He's going to be talking to, not Kicking It, sorry.
Yep.
The after show is tonight with Andy.
Yeah.
And then next Tuesday at 7:30, Kicking It with Andy. He's going to be giving away prizes. You can win stuff. And he does such a great job. You guys have been on his show too, haven't you?
No, actually, I haven't been on his show.
Oh, you haven't?
So I mean,
Oh.
maybe we should at some point. We'll see.
Andy, did you hear that? These
Yep.
guys are
Be happy
curious and
to, yeah.
interested.
Yeah. I feel like on the whole EV thing, we just kind of got started too. So maybe we'll have to
Yeah.
come back and follow up on that. At some
You know,
point too, so
we'd love to have you guys back,
yeah,
actually.
we'll figure it out.
So maybe, yeah, let's do a follow-up show, some more EV, and maybe we could do some EV pictures of some of the
Yep.
builds you guys have done in EVs.
Yep.
That'd be
Sure,
great.
that'd be
to have
nice,
you.
so, yep.
Okay, thank you for that offer. That's fantastic. So we'll have a follow-up show probably January, February when we do that, because our next show is already planned out. Is on the 19th, Tuesday the 19th, 7:30. And it's going to be Hi-Fi Vega in the studio, according to Ernie. So Hi-Fi Vega will be
Nice.
here.
That'd be
And then
good.
Remy with Excess Power. He'll be probably remote, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
you want to check that out. And guys, thank you so much
Absolutely,
for being
man.
here.
Enjoyed it as
I
always.
love having you guys
Very
here.
good, man.
Thanks
Been a lot
for
of
having
fun
dinner
too.
with me.
Oh, yeah.
Always a
Fun
good
sharing some time with all these people. So
Oh, yeah.
been nice. So
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here. Good night.
we'll see you. Dun, 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 dun.